Great dawn rising, everybody. I am Dr. Marion. Okay, so I'm bringing forth this video, and I had this moment of extension of acceptance of what was within. Okay, so I'm talking to a friend as I'm sharing with them about my quest, and we're trying to get the music ready for me bringing back and reviving the Phyllis Hyman project here in Arizona this time because everybody's keep asking for it. So we'll talk about that later. But let's get back to the place when someone says that someone did you wrong. Maybe they didn't so much do you wrong as they did do you right. So I'm going to be referring back to a couple of notes because this really hit me and it's really important. And I just want to share this with y'all. All right. So I want to share this with y'all. So in my release space. So what you see behind you are some is my transitions of some vision boards and different things that I have in my release space and candles and different things where I go when I need to function, right? After I get some type of release from within. So I don't call it download. I call it a release from within because it's already inside of you. And you just need to be able to release yourself and relax yourself enough for it to become part of your reality and your circumference of your knowing. Okay. So here we go. So when you say someone does you wrong, did they really do you wrong or did they do you right? Right? Because if we are living a God life and we are representing the God, the creator, the higher force, the universe, we are that, then when we choose to come into service to another individual we see that has that God in them and we recognize the God in them when we go into a form of service, and unfortunately sometimes we go into a form of worship and that person has not come into full agreement to understand that's what we are doing and that it should be an exchange. Have they really done us wrong or have we done ourselves wrong? Did they do us a right? Because when we as a person go back and we reflect and we're rethinking as we should be doing when we have an uneasy circumstance or situation, then when we go back and we reflect and we think upon what actually happened, then we start looking at what actually occurred. Why did it occur? Well, like I said, it's because we thought we had an agreement to have an exchange of our God lives and our positioning in that God life. Okay. But we didn't. You agreed and you felt because you saw the God in this person and this person was living their God life. And then you relinquished your position, your power. You gave up some information. You even gave up some of your time, whatever you want to say, whatever you gave to that individual to allow them to put themselves in a position of superiority or hierarchy or control or manipulation state. See, I'm saying get out your chest, get out your feelings, clutch your pearls, whatever you got to do, because this is how I talk. I'm a life alchemist. I'm unleashing the coding that we need to hear. Okay. So, and it's for me as well, because I had to, it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So when that person does that and you give them that and you're in a form of service to that God life, Life, and you go into a role of service and even like I said, a process of worship, then you have to understand that if that person doesn't understand that's just a temporary state so that you can have a positive exchange and they just take from you and they take from you and then they walk away after you've done your service and your worship, then that's on you. We should be in service. We should be in exchange, but we have to make sure we have an agreement. And when we make sure we have that agreement, then and only then can we have a true exchange. If there's no exchange, you go back, you look at it, you figure it out. Because I say you've been done right, not wrong. Because at that very moment, you realize that you gave up too much, too soon, too often. After you realize you have compromised too many times, you have settled, you have hushed mouth, you have humbled down, you have been in service and in worship too much to the individual that is supposed to be in a God life. Remember, you also are a God life. This you're not just drawn to God. You are a God because God's walk with gods and God's a talk with gods, and that's what we do. Now, if this is too deep for you, that's fine. Go ahead, delete me now because I'm telling you who I am. So when you get into that state and you start reflecting that that's what you did, it should and usually does cause you, we call it our ego, our bounce back. We call it that, that's not going to happen to me again. It's not supposed to be in your ego. It's supposed to be in your heart. It's supposed to be in your spirit and your soul that is guiding you back to your God life and your God state of existence. Okay, one thing I said about Christians, they got this one thing in their Bible that says, let this mind be in you that is also in Christ. And I often go the next step and I say, well, what was the mind of Christ? Well, the mind was Christ was when he recognized that he was representing the God, the creator of all that ever was, is, and shall be, the divine. Whatever term you use, Obatala, Edmarte, whatever term you need to use to make you understand Allah, I don't care. Think about whatever you feel the highest existence of what you are a fragment of, because we are a fragment of whatever that greater force is, that greater magnetic field, that greater energy, that greater life. You are a refragment of that. Therefore, you are representing that form. So you are in a God life. So when you raise your vibration after that quote unquote thing that you've been done wrong, aka done right, at that moment you raise your vibration and you restore to that. So it's not about they did you wrong as much as it is that you went into service with someone, not understanding that you should be in exchange with someone, in exchange of service, not just in service or in worship. The very thing that you are giving them, they should be reciprocating at some point. That's where the resting period comes in at. That's where the equilibrium comes in at. That's where the balance comes in at. That's where the egalitarianism comes in at. That's when the unification comes in at. That's where the growth comes in. That's where the acceleration to the 500 level vibration and above. That's when you begin to have self-actualization. That's when you begin to have every aspect of the life you know you should be having with your God force, with your life force. So quit getting upset and start going back and reaffirming who you are and living your life in your God state. Absolutely positively. Absolutely positively. Stop buying into this bull crap that you got to feel sorry and poor me. That's where forgiveness comes in at. You forgive yourself for forgetting that you're in the God life. And then you forgive the individual for them forgetting that you're in the God life. You love each other for that moment. That doesn't mean you go back. That doesn't mean you try to fix it. You got to tell them anything. No, it's all about you in that moment of restorative nature, the healing nature. That thing that's inside of you that begins to resonate that you are truly the life force, the God force. You are that entity, that energy, that vibration, that vortex that protects you, that's spinning around, that's beginning to change and reshape some thoughts, some formulations of identities and ideologies. That moment that you begin to understand that your mind is the most powerful tool you have. And if you begin to waste that mind, then you begin to waste the ideas of being God, and you begin to waste the thoughts that create the vibrations, that create the manifestation of that which you know should be yours and is yours because you see it, you feel it, you taste it. So therefore you have to speak it for it to be. You begin to understand that when you work in the mind, in that mind of yours, when you begin to understand the God life that you have, there is no question in your knowing. There's no question in your being. Last week or the week before on our call, I talked about that. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Quit allowing people to shape your thoughts, your mind. It's all within. You already know. You made the agreement with the divine most high creator. You made the agreement with the universe. You made the agreement with the ancestors. You made an agreement with the orishas. Whatever term you need to put into your mind, you need to know that it's there. and begin to release the alchemic code that is going to bring forth the energy that you need to bring forth the vibration high, the higher level thoughts of 500 plus thoughts, to begin to work in the realm of your third eye, begin to work in the realm of the spirit realm, versus you functioning and looking at what you can physically touch. You have to see it, you have to feel it, you have to hear it, and then you speak it in your God life. So when an individual comes to you and they have misaligned themselves, they have misrepresented their identity as a God life, when you have misaligned your understanding and your connection to this entity, you have to go to a place of withinness, into the oneness, into the vortex, into the holding of the magnetic field of the space that is allowing you to be your highest and greatest self. Whew, that's something right there. They didn't do you wrong. They did you right. They did you right because it forced you to go back and do some reflection. It forced you to go back and feel the pain. Go back because pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. It forced you to go back. It forced you to go back and begin to examine the thoughts, the processes, and the acceptances that you allowed. It allowed you to go in and say, understand that when you are in worship to another, you are not in worship to yourself. Oh, I'll say it again. If you're in worship to another, you are not in worship to yourself. We can have gratitude. We can have appreciation. We can have adornment. We can even love. But it is not to worship them so much that we begin to make a self-sacrifice or go into a state of martyrism. Our love, it's not a love that will allow us to be destroyed in the process of sharing that love. Our existence, our vibration, our magnetic field, our vortex winds that are pulling in these entities into us are to, one, pull them into us for us to first and foremost see them, for us to see them and then recognize how they benefit us and how we benefit them, and then begin to restructure, reframe, recapture, restore, and replace, and then release. Some of us needed to understand that just because it comes back to you, just because it's in your space, doesn't mean you have to hold on to it. It's for you to begin to rethink, to reanalyze, to reevaluate why it's there. And then you figure out, do you need to restructure it so you can reuse it? Or do you need to replace it and release it? Shay, so it is. Oh my greatness, in this moment, understand that. People don't do you wrong, they do you right. Because remember, there really is no right or wrong. There's only an infinite number of possibilities by which you choose the best choice in that second. Wow. That's something else. This is the type of thing that I go through for myself. If you begin to forgive and place yourself back into your God life and stop thinking that people are against you, how could they be against you? You created them. They are you. So if they're against you, that means there's something that you're doing. There's something here that's not connecting. It's not leaving here and going here. If they're against you, anything that deals with filth, shame, hurt, doubt, worry, frustration, competition, ignorance, racism, separatism, hierarchies, this idea that something is ugly versus something is beautiful. All things are beautiful within their own respective place, time, and existence. To think that this person is unnecessary. They may not be needed at this time, place, but you release them to a place where they can get to where they're supposed to be because they got distracted by your light. You heard what I said. Release them because they got distracted by your light, and send them on their way so they can get back on their path. Send them with love. Send them with peace. Wow. I gotta stop. Join me Saturday. We'll pick this up. But I had to share this. Because it's not that they're doing you wrong. They've done you right. They're sending you to a place within for you to evaluate that which you experienced. and recall that you are in a God state of existence. And for those of you that are getting confused, again, delete me, move it, email me, inbox me. You are a representation of God. Whatever term you want to use, God, Allah, Creator, Universe, Ra, Yahweh, whatever term you want to use, I don't care. Just get the message. That's who you representing. So that if that's supposed to be omniscient, all powerful, all seeing, all knowing, ever present. So why would you doubt that something that occurs to your life is not beneficial? I mean, listen, I'm going to stop here. Loving y'all, blessing y'all. You are light, you are peace, you are love, you are joy, you are harmony. You are the strength that you desire. You are exactly what we've been waiting for, because you first waited for yourself and then you opened up the door to allow us to see you. So until next time, again, I am Marian Efua, the life alchemist and transformation engineer. I am that you need. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace, blessings, and love.